I want to bring in Alabama Congressman Bradley Byrne. He joins me now live from Capitol Hill. He's put his name on a bill to repeal the Affordable Care Act in its entirety and says this battle's not over. Congressman, thanks so much for taking the time to being with us. I have to ask you, when I'm looking at the statistics, and I have no reason to believe that the government is fudging them, 16.4 million people have gained health insurance since the Affordable Care Act became law 5 years ago. More people have insurance now than since we even began recording these numbers. Rates are down. Pre-existing conditions are no longer a problem. These are the kinds of things that a lot of Americans are hearing as very good things. Why do you dispute that?
Well, because I listen to the people in my district, and this thing is not working for them. They're having real hard times trying to meet the deductible levels. Some of them can't afford the premiums, and people are finding they've got real restrictions on the health care that's available to them. So everything I'm hearing in my district is people do not like this law, and they want it repealed and replaced with something that works for them, that empowers them, and not some bureaucrat in Washington. So we're going to continue the fight, and I think we'll be successful.
But 50 challenges already, and you have been part of that as well. It's not working. It's certainly not working the way you're trying to repeal it. I've asked my colleagues prior to you coming on live, is the only way you can do what you and many of your Republican colleagues are saying you'd like to do, and that is repeal and replace, is the only way you can do that to basically, win the trifecta. You're going to have the White House, the Senate, and the House in order to do this.
Well, I think that's true. I think we've come to the conclusion now as a result of these Supreme Court decisions that we've got to have a different president. And so I think this issue is front and center in the presidential campaigns. In the meantime, we'll continue our legislative work here. There may be some things we can do here and there, but at the end of the day, you can't fix this law. You've got to replace it, and we're going to continue that fight all the way through the presidential election.
So, Congressman Byrne, my colleague Gloria Borger brought up a really good point earlier on CNN, and that was this, that many of your colleagues who perhaps feel the way you do, that certain constituents' needs aren't being met by Obamacare, would like to cherry pick the fixes. And instead, it's become such a heated issue that there's no conciliatory language that will do. It's either repeal and replace or don't discuss the issue at all. Is that healthy?
Well, I think it's okay to talk about the various parts of the law that aren't working here and there and talk about some type of piecemeal fix. But at the end of the day, I don't think a piecemeal fix is going to work. I don't think it's going to work politically. I don't think the president's going to accept that. So at the end of the day, we're going to have to go through this presidential election, elect a president that's willing to sit down and honestly talk about the fact that this law was ill-conceived, it's not working. And let's understand that what the Supreme Court said today was it was rushed through so fast that they created an ambiguity in it, poor drafting. Let's go back and take a look at the law, understand that it's not working, and put something in place that makes sense for the American people. So will we try to do something piecemeal between here and the presidential election? Maybe, but I don't think it's going to work, because I don't think the president's going to sign it.
Well, grammar matters and language matters, and even one of the justices suggested as much, the Chief Justice, in fact, that got to be more careful with how we write these things. Thank you so much for being with us. I do appreciate it. Congressman Byrne joining us live from the Rotunda. Thank you.